This is so informal, and I love it. This is the first episode of the podcast, and it's called Playing It By Ear. So this vision actually came from Rachel, my wife. Everything I did in my life was playing it by ear, from music to like just going with the flow of things, because a lot of times in my life I had to deal with the cards that had to be dealt with that's outside of my power. And I was like, you know what, let me take a collection of all my life experiences on why I was this successful with little preparation. So I was like, you know what, let me just do it play by ear, because it's not just going to be about me, it's about all these different people that I'm interviewing. So one of the guys that's on my podcast is a good friend, Alberto, a.k.a. Zaxai. Man, thank you for coming down. I pressured him to come down, but it was long overdue.
Like 4 years.
4 years. But we knew each other for a long time. I guess you want to share a little bit of background about
our history, or just as an artist?
you,
Well, both,
and then how we met and all that good stuff. Because
Word.
act like no one knows who you are.
Okay.
And how we're here, why we're here.
Right. I go by the name Zaxai. That's my pseudo name. I've been an independent artist for about, now 11 years. I started off singing in wedding bands and event companies. I now own my own, but as an artist, I just always wanted to, stand out, and I feel like that's every artist. I've gotten a chance to go on The Voice. I made it to top 24 during season 15, I want to say, season 15.
Team Kelly first? Kelly
yeah.
Clarkson first?
No, I was actually in Jennifer Hudson's team first.
Jennifer Hudson.
And then I went over to Kelly Clarkson's team. And that was just a dope experience just because of my new friends, if you will, from the Post Voice. From there, I funded my own solo acoustic European tour. And that was fun for a while. And then quarantine, of course, COVID hit, and that kind of deterred a little bit of that. I had my first album actually was through Phineas and Finestro's, our joint collab album called Rendezvous, where I got a chance to kind of explore different sounds and ideas, and so the introduction of Zaxai, if anything, starts with just a concept, the name, and a brand, and then expanded through Finestro and then through Lynchburg. So this is a full circle moment for me too, in the moment of this here.
And shout out to Jordan. He was actually late night sessions in the old studio. We recorded Roxy one night.
We recorded Roxy that.
It's funny. It's funny because Rendezvous is actually the name of what in French, Creole, is a
meeting point, or
meeting point.
But a romantic meeting point, right? So.
It's funny how the naming convention started. We was at Cold Stone?
Cold Stone.
Yeah, we was in
Cold Stone.
Yo, we was in Cold Stone in Wards Road. So man, we gonna name it. And this is around the time when I moved here from New York, 2016. So he came in here one time, and then he was one of my groomsmen. 2017, I got married. So in between that time, he was working on the records.
Yeah.
And I had songs that I prior produced. Never released it. It was just like, it was a fun songs. He was like, we started with Criminal.
Yeah, Criminal.
That was the first song we did. And that song, we kind of like, almost like a coffee shop like this. First of all, big shout out to Love & Co. Taylor.
Shout out to
Loving.
Thank you for the tea.
Thank
too.
you for
Appreciate
this. This spot is amazing. And the reason why I chose this spot is because this spot reminded me a little bit like Tea Lounge at home in Park Slope. And that's kind of like where we started our production.
Yeah.
We would be in the back with our headphones and a table, and then he'll beatbox, and I'll sample him on my iPhone, put him on my Logic, and that song, it was amazing. So we did a lot of our creativity in a coffee shop. So it's just imperative that we had to do this first podcast in a coffee shop.
In a coffee shop.
You know what I'm saying? And this is all about playing by ear. Like everything here, by the way, is not scripted. So everything is coming from the dome and in our hearts. So again, if you don't remember my name, it's Phineas. I don't think I remember saying my name.
You didn't, but your pseudonym would be Finestro, if anything. Phineas, but Finestro too. So I give him pseudos too.
So Phineas. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. So where do we begin? Okay, so we did the Rendezvous. EP. It was amazing. It was well suited. It was around my
For the time too.
for the time,
'Cause
yeah.
it was super pop. It was a
it
super
was
pop
ahead of its time
project.
because the things that we were doing,
And
especially
features.
for me, yeah, like a lot of people don't know this, but I came from the EDM world. I did a lot of electronic dance music. Ironically, from New York, that was a common
It wasn't.
genre for a producer from New York to create because you're dealing with like European dance music stuff, and then but that opened a lot more doors for me to kind of separate.
Even context. That's 2013,
The
2014.
yeah, 2012,
That was
13, yeah.
yeah.
And hey, and thank you guys, thank you for coming. I just love the fact that I'm able to experiment, and he's kind of like the love child of all my experimentations.
Same.
Yeah,
As a writer
and
artist.
and that just catapulted both our careers. And I guess one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, because I watch a lot of your podcasts, interviews. Tell people here, like, how did culture, because, we was raised in the same, family, culture, Haitians in America, in New York. Like, how did the culture influence our, like, output? Not just being New Yorkers, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Haitian
people
American
don't know, like, we work, yeah, we have talent, but we really work hard for this because we had to fight our position in where we are right now. Like, not saying fight with our family, but we have to fight with ideas
Oof.
to get to where we need to be. So,
Oof.
can you share what were we fighting for, man?
I guess that's kind of a two-part question because, the me in 2013 versus the me and now in 2024, I feel like the base of it is just to be heard, right? And just an outlet for creativity. And then, of course, when you become an adult, I'm a grown-up, then you kind of have a lot more flexibility and freedom, but also, experience. And through that experience, you're allowed to kind of express it. But 2013 me, the culture itself, it was, I wouldn't say it pigeonholed us because if anything, we use a lot of our cultural influences, especially being Haitian American too, who are musicians, especially in New York City. There's so much different sounds, there's so many different cultures, right? But at the same time, you wanted to make sure that you represented the country right. Well, for me at least, wanted to make sure
it was
you
definitely
represent
that pressure for us because we grew up in that.
Haitian gospel home,
Yeah, like,
etc.
because my mom and my dad, what's up, Melee? What's up, yo? Yo, Najee, what's good? See, it's cool. This is why I love this space. It's nice and intimate and cozy. Come up. So we grew up in the same culture, like post Jesus culture, Baptist, Haitian, boom. Like
Pentecost.
you can't play hip hop, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we was born in the area where like hip hop was big and
Right.
and R&B swooping in the mid 2000s. So in that we were raised with the iron fist of the Bible
Right,
and all
right.
that stuff. And it's interesting because I'm one of four, the last child, and you're the first child of three.
Yeah, first child of three.
You know what I'm saying? We had similar experiences, and when I want to pick it back off what you were saying, even though we were kind of like in a strict Haitian Baptist culture, we knew that was a foundational standpoint of working hard because nothing was handed to us.
At all.
We play instruments or multiple instruments, we sing, whatever, dance, but that was it for not just an outlet, but it was something that we knew that because we couldn't do it as much, we could now look forward to like investing ourselves. So like, where do you felt like you started having the music bug? Because I remember when I came back from here from school and I connected with you later, like you didn't play guitar,
No.
but like you was like explain like what was that music foundation?
Well, I think I always had the music bug, but you're right, to want to take it professionally and to take it just to another level, I would say 18, 19, right? Like around that age group. 18, 19, like I want to say I was part of a gospel group called David Matera and One Accord, and
David Mattea.
Finestra was part of another group called Broken Chains, and we're just like, and even that was kind of ahead of its time because there were like
it was a
young
rock band. It was like a all black rock and roll crossover, like church musicians turned rock and roll band.
like super. You guys, but you were like heavy, and
Yeah,
we were like,
we were.
we were like, what would be the equivalent to that?
It's basically like if you mix like David Crowder and Third Day, but if you had like
that was
Pharrell,
Broken Chains.
yeah,
Ooh,
if you
yeah,
had like
yeah,
Pharrell
yeah.
and like
That was kind of crazy.
crazy like R&B singers singing rock. Like this is like before. Who you know Naomi Rain from was it Maverick City? She started. We were in a whole band with her, Mayo bass. Was
I
it?
didn't even know you was with name Marine.
Yeah, it was after Mayo left.
Wow, that's crazy.
And was it Carlin on drums?
Oh.
So it was like a super group of all these different musicians.
Carlin
and
is
singers.
now J. Cole's drummer for context in sessions for like
now he's on tour with
who's he called?
Lana Del.
Lana Del Rey. I'm not even surprised.
Yeah, again, these are all church musicians that we came together as a ministry. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go to the clubs and play Jesus music, but with auto-tune and some heavy guitar stuff. And that
Before it
actually
became a thing.
It did awesome. And then David Matera, and he was doing that with the Haitian community.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Ty Tribbett is doing now.
It was literal.
But he was
people
doing
are
the
fans
Haitian
of Ty
community
Tribbett.
in
That's
New
what
York.
that was.
And actually, I heard the story with Dave Matera. He actually helped Ty Tribbett get a gig, first time gig in New York.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah.
So it's funny how we kind of intersected.
Oh,
He
yeah.
he was in the.
It was different, man. It was just jumping on the. Imagine like going to like regular churches, and then you got like us in blazers and then maybe jeans and some Jordans, and just jumping on the pews like going crazy. but everybody was happy. Everybody got excited. But that was, without me knowing, that was David's influence as well on me as a musician, because then we have the Corey Henrys. Playing keys, and then of course Carlin sometimes, and then Jay Whites, and all these, like I said, massive musicians that tour with these massive musicians, and they're imparting all of that into you. And then David, of course, trying to push the barrier, which he did.
Yeah, he did.
Just for whatever reason, it didn't reach the pinnacle that he needed to. But that's the price you pay when you're ahead of your time. And so yeah, that was like the foundation of that. To even die, to regress, that's the foundation. That's the music bug, if you will. But I started so late, 24. My parents wouldn't let me do music full time till I graduated, and then I said, I'm doing it anyway. And then we were,
That's the quintessential
Haitian household.
household mentality. Like I had to fight my way to like do these gigs. I'm talking about like high profile gigs. Like I'm playing at the Blue Note midnight. Like you know the Blue Note, and I'd sneak. There's times I sneak out in gigs. I was like, I'm going to friends' house. I'm going to the studio. I was like, nah, I'm playing this gig, and it's bad because now thinking about it, I was like, wait, time out. That was like one time coming home with like money like on the table, like like I'm actually helping my family, contributing. But they say it's like, oh, this is a bad way to make money. You're worshiping the devil and all that stuff. But it's crazy because there's also music ministers in church who actually do studio sessions with all the artists that you love. They're doing the same thing, but we're not living the lifestyle. We're not going to clubs, but they're providing that entertainment service for labels, and they're coming from the church too. So it was weird that how we saw that success in our eyes, and they wouldn't let. So how did you fight that barrier, knowing that our family didn't want us to do this, but then we still did it anyway? Like how did you get to balance that out?
I just did it anyway. What happened was, I started working within the post-graduation. I was working at Macy's in Radio City, and then from Radio City, I started working at this random Russian restaurant / club, right? And it just so happened I could just use my talents singing 6 languages. And at the time, I was learning how to just this hustle, and I just love music.
Which languages?
English, Haitian Creole, French, Spanish, Italian, and Russian. My Russian is way better than my Italian now, and my Spanish, so don't ask me right now, depending on the song. When same thing like you, like I realized that I'm putting money on the table, not just money. At one point, when I mentor artists, I tell them this. I say, you don't give a young kid money without the understanding of how to handle money. But I was making more than them combined weekly. And I remember when I told them how much I was making, they were like, how much? And I was like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah. And then the second W was when I got on The Voice. Now, even when I was on The Voice, I didn't know my parents knew my artist name, and I forgot. I was like, oh, man, because...
So they just pop on TV, was like, what?
It was funny
Is
because
this her son? Oh my God!
No, she was on the interview. Like she.
Oh yeah, they came to your house. They went to the house. They went to the house. Yeah, that's true.
And they flew to Cali, and it was like, I was like, oh wait, because I mean, my parents after a while they couldn't tell me anything. I graduated. You asked me to do what you needed me to do. I graduated.
Where you graduated from?
City College of New York. I got a BA in psychology and Jewish studies.
See, we still had to overachieve. We still had to go to school. So this was not like a hobby. We had to appease our parents. Okay, now I'm gonna do my life. So you did that, and so where was that point where you feel like, okay, they see you as the man, and like, okay, you could do whatever you want. Like, has that happened?
When they realized that I wasn't like a knucklehead, I think that's what it was. When they realized I wasn't a knucklehead, and they said, okay, you look like you're serious about this. Cool, do what you need to do. And I mean, for the most part, my parents are very laissez-faire, maybe to a fault sometime. But that was when...
Your parents are actually cool.
They are cool.
They're super cool. Your dad, too, he was like...
I blame my dad. I'm like, I blame my dad for being a musician or artist. Like, he was playing... I mean, it's funny. Like, in a similar house, so I think if my mom were just to say, we can't listen to certain things, it was just my mom, then I wouldn't have been exposed. But my father... he would say, yeah, we can't listen to certain music, but Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Celine Dion, Stevie Wonder, Gloria Estefan, all these people, and you're walking down. Yeah. So I'm like getting the top tier of pop and certain songs, certain artists. And there are even songs that I know that he must have played when I was in the womb, because for like years on end, I would hear a song and I would know it, but I didn't know why I knew it, right? So, So that was like... There were stipulations to that. But I blame my father. I'm like, dude, you're the reason I'm an artist. Blame you.
My dad, too. Like, my mom, I don't want to put my business out there, but it's my podcast. I don't care. At some point, I learned later. My wife will tell you, because my mom tells all the business that I don't know to her. So at some point, my dad wasn't really Christian, but at some point, he would I had reel-to-reel tapes. So he had imported stuff from France, like early Celine Dion stuff. I remember listening to, like, everything. Because my dad also was bilingual. He also spoke Spanish. Always watched Telemundo soccer.
Telemundo is Haiti
We listened to bachata. We listened to Haitian compa. We listened to, believe it or not, my dad loved soft rock. He loved the Bee Gees. He used to go to clubs in New York. Before my mom was saved, they used to go to clubs. I'm talking about like before Studio 54, all that stuff. So they used to go to the disco back in the late 70s. This is before I was born.
That's how I know.
So when my mom got saved and dedicated her life to Christ, all those vinyls and LPs out in the trash. But as much as what he got to retrieve, I got exposed to all that music when my mom wasn't there. So he would, play in his Mercedes. Yeah, listen to this. We listened to like jazz and like imported music. So that was important for my dad, and of course, my brother. But yeah, so I understand that duality of, okay, we can't listen to this, but you gotta get exposed to that. So now let's fast forward. Now with me, before I met you, I attended Liberty. I was a freshman up to 2007, 8. I moved back to New York. And in New York, at this time, it was pre-gentrification, and this is when those guys in the neighborhood, thugs, were starting out skateboarding, and that was a culture shock for me when I moved back home. And I moved right near Church Avenue in Flatbush, right near
where my parents live now,
Yeah, so those thugs that used to be, gangbanging, they're now
gangbanging in skates.
Yeah, skates. And it was a culture shock. That was one thing. That shift. And then 2010, 2011, boom, I got connected with David Mateer, through Joel Basquin.
Yeah, he's our key player.
He's like the Jedi, the quiet Jedi. He was kind of like he actually helped me influence like to
production
wise.
I can see that.
And I used to sneak in your rehearsals at Complete Studios. Now, we gotta talk about Complete Studios.
I still go to Complete Studios.
You still go?
Yeah.
So Complete Studios in Brooklyn is where like a lot of famous musicians go. So like David Mateer, now he's an independent gospel artist. One time was the summertime, it was David Mateer, then it was Billy Joel's daughter, then it was John Legend's band rehearsing, and then it was Maxwell's band, all at one time.
Yeah.
That's a quintessential New York moment.
Yeah.
And then one time I saw this guy from like all in one time. Like literally, you could just be rehearsing and
And that was a time in New York City too. When
it was hot.
When there were a
It
lot
was
of
hot,
studios.
hot. Like
That-
Robert
that's when New York City
Glasper
was hot.
Yeah, Robert Glasper was playing organ, and it was funny. It's like I didn't know what Robert Glasper was until, of course, 2014. He played at the Apple Store.
Yeah.
It's just a New York moment. It's like it doesn't matter because
It's a rehearsal studio,
It's a rehearsal
but
studio.
also a recording studio.
and a
depending
hangout
where-
spot.
Definitely.
So we got exposed to all that, even I'll say in my mid 20s, like 20s. So being that we were already around those people and stuff. Now this is 2000 and let's say 2014. I know this is when you started playing guitar because I remember.
Well, taking it seriously, because I mean, I played for like my entire life, even through high school, but I wasn't like serious.
Like seriously, because I
I'm
know
like
it was
self-taught.
after the time with David, you was coming over to church
Let
and
me,
he was
let
like,
me
yeah,
try
let
to
me
play,
yeah.
you know, more so. I mean, I learned by ear. I mean, play by ear, literally, you know, podcast name.
Yeah.
But it was through that. But I knew that I wanted to incorporate guitar in that because, like you, I love soft rock, you know, and it's funny how these things are kind of like coming back full circle for me, and how do you make a contemporary in today, or in a way that just expresses who you are, right? I mean, I'm multi-genre, especially singing in all these languages, especially as an entertainer, but that's why I wanted to play guitar. But also Israel Houghton from Israel New Breed.
Yeah,
So,
Israel.
Yeah, that's like one of my original heroes, right? And so I knew that I played, but I wanted to at least get to the point where I could play in two keys.
Play and sing. Yeah.
Play and sing, 4 or 5 chords max, hold a good rhythm, and then go out, you know what I mean? And even then, that still took time, because then I became an electric guitarist, and then even that, I'm still growing.
You actually at a rapper rate, you really improved like quick.
Yeah,
Like it was
thanks.
scary quick. It was like do or die. I gotta play. Like I'm gonna play my gig next week. I was like, yo, I just learned. I just saw. But that's
Man.
great. That just shows our resilience because I remember. It was at the time, you know, I was playing for Brooklyn Tab. He came to our rehearsals because Jose was the director. So he'll come. He's like, yo, show me something, Finn. I'm like, okay, I'll show you something.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't know he was going to be a beast after that. It was like a matter of like 6 months. He was just like,
Disclaimer, I am not a beast. That's not even me being humble. That's me being realistic. So that's
yo,
that.
what was the first song you learned?
First song I learned on guitar. That's a good question. I really do not remember. I remember hearing it and kind of playing a song, but like learn down at the time. It was probably Lord You Are Good by Israel. And then after that, yeah, that's all that comes to mind. I feel like it's something else, but like in one of the old Motown tunes, but
So
yeah.
now let's get to your artistry. What song on the guitar that you were like, okay, I know the guitar enough that I could play. What was the first song that you like written, like, okay, on the guitar and release?
It's funny. First song that I wrote on the guitar and release is actually called "Find Me Here." I'll play it today. But the first song I actually wrote on the guitar and played was a song I didn't release called "Tears on My Guitar." It's so funny. I was like, how old was I? Like,
Can you play that,
17?
bro? You have free
Nope,
reign.
I don't remember how to play it.
Tears on my guitar. Oh no.
Oh, you remember that tune?
Yeah,
That's crazy. I was years
survival trait, man.
ago.
I have to remember everything.
Yeah, not me.
I remember you performing that song, and I think Matthew was playing. I think it's the same key progression.
Probably. If I hear
Find Me,
memory.
it's in the same progression of Find Me Here.
I can't remember my verses. If I remember my verses, then I go from there. But "Find Me Here" was the one that was like okay, I feel good, I'm playing the song. And even the story behind that, man, I am 20, maybe 21, and I had the crush on this girl. And it always starts with a girl with the artist, child. They always be like, I'm trying to get to know you. But no, I had a crush on this girl, and she had moved overseas, and she knew that I had a crush on her, right? We had like lots of chemistry.
You're overly intentional. I mean, you don't play games. we don't play games where you're like, yo, like it's not like we're gonna slip a note. It's like, yeah, come over here. We're talking,
Well, not even. You know what it
was
is?
you wasn't beating around the bush.
Well,
Sometimes
no, she told me that like, oh, she was interested in some dude, and I was looking at her like, You really gonna tell me that you're interested in some dude? And then she told me that the dude wrote her a song, and I said, the dude did what? So me and my singer-songwriter self, and I'm a little chunky, and I'm just like, you ain't gonna put me in this friend zone. So I and that's the time when like iPads had just started doing GarageBand. So I had like the iPhone headphones that with the mic on it, and I put it near my guitar, like on the inside of my acoustic. So it's like a makeshift recording, you know what I mean? But that joint came out clean though, let me tell you. That thing came out clean. And I remember like, and even, I didn't realize, but that was also my love for creating and producing music, right? And I finished in like, I stayed up till like the morning, and I finished in like 6 hours. Written, composed, harmonies, took the mic out, recording the harmonies, you know, on the iPhone, and then I sent it to her, and I was like, "Yeah, I wrote your song. Stop playing." And then,
What was the response?
in the long run, she ended up choosing him, but I had a fighting chance for like a good month.
Hard Lars,
You know,
y'all gang.
But then I love the song so much. I love the song so much just because it was so unconventional. It was a little too literal, and then I ended up releasing it after The Voice, like years later, with the music video.
It's a beautiful music video, man.
I've since changed it because I love Prince, and so I came up with like a Purple Rain kind of head nod to it. You can't really hear the arrangement because clearly it's just me, myself, you know, by myself right now. But
Play it, man. You got the floor.
shoot, okay. He's like, you don't know it. Yep, come on, thank you. Here's what I usually like to do. Between sets, I tune up. Because you only get one good first impression. There we go. 8 hours is keeping us apart. Curse the miles between our spaces. Truth is, without you, life is dark. And you're the light my heart's been chasing. If I could roll the tides, I'd move the ocean floor till we see eye to eye. Our lips could touch and then my soul would feel alive. My mind at peace, my flesh at ease, because you're by my side. Oh no, oh da, love. 8 hours is keeping you from home. Don't believe the lies he's making. Oh yeah, right here is where you belong. Me and you getting lost, finding new spaces. If I could roam the tides, I'd fly to where you are, then maybe we could try. The thought of us two getting lost in love tonight. More hellos and less goodbyes. My dream is you by my side. Find me here. Take that flight, a leap of faith there. Join me here. Don't deny what's deep inside. Live here, my dear. There's room enough for two if you would choose to be by my side. Find me here. Take that flight, a leap of faith, then join me here. Don't deny what's deep inside. Live here, my dear. There's room enough for two if you would choose to be by my side.
Thank you. Beautiful song. If you haven't seen the music video, by the way, a lot of his music videos, I don't know how you do it, man. They're like a movie.
That's the grace of God and Christopher Aaron of Root Level Films, who saw, well, actually, that was a connection through a good friend of mine, and he asked me to sing at his wedding. I was featured on one of his songs, my boy's songs, Joaquin Rivers. Shout out to him one time. And then he heard me sing, and he's like, you have a beautiful voice, man. I'm getting married next year. You want to sing my wedding? I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't ask for anything. I was just like, no, I don't care, whatever, I'm down. And then he's like, man, I want to do you a favor. And I was like, what's the favor? He's like, I want to shoot your music video. I'm like, you want to, for singing?
Look at that. If
like, you know?
When you watch a music video, you'll see why that was important. Because that was like on Hollywood level, like
He filmed
drone shots and like film, slow motions.
Yeah.
And
that was love. Because he brought a whole crew, and I was so used to delegating and hiring people and producing and doing all the things. And I remember even showing up, like he just got all his Hollywood buddies and all these people that do TV and film. And I'm like, this is a whole crew. And I'm looking at him like, bro, how am I supposed to pay for this? He's like, bro, you good? And I'm like, what you mean I'm good, dog? What are you saying? This is
signing it out of line.
It's looking like Netflix, my brother. Like, what are you saying? You know? And then, but that was the first time I kind of just sat back and was an artist, right? And I felt pretty good. And then we've done a few more projects after that. I like to act too, and I always wanted all my songs to feel cinematic, like short film. The next one would be like a monologue or things of that nature, and where we're trying to build. But I've worked with other videographers and cinematographers, but when I know I got something big and I want a story to tell, it's like I'm going to him. How do we portray this? Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Not because of the crew. Our other stuff has been like 3 people, but whereas before it was like a whole situation. Now it's just like, all right, 2, 3, like pulling funds, I pull in funds. Let's do it. All right, cool.
Nah, but it's always top notch. Like no one
Chris.
Independently do that, man. Speaking of the weddings and stuff, so because people don't know this side to you, that you're not just an artist, musician, but like on some business. I think this just, again, it comes from our culture. Like, we can't just do one thing. Because
trying to, child.
We can't just do one thing. Like, you guys know me, I'm a producer. I do a lot of production, but outside I do IT, but then outside of that I did XYZ, 1, 2, 4, whatever. Something. But like, what is something that you realize after being, because people don't know, like, you've been heavy in doing nonprofit stuff too, because
that was the origins of
Speak on that.
So I always try to be as honest and as I possibly can. The introduction to the nonprofit space was actually through one of my exes and good friend. Well, no, clearly, but at the time, and we used to work. Well, she used to work for Orphan Starfish, but even before that, like I would always volunteer at the churches for the most part.
That's what we all did.
That's what it is. So I was like,
did.
oh man, can I come through? Yeah, sure, whatever. It's like, come to the office, and I'm just like, all right. I'm like, I like to give people space, but all right, cool, I'll come to the office, whatever. I'll do what I need to do. But then through that, I got involved, and then we had a trip to Haiti, and I'm like, oh, I can't miss this. Like, this is my home, right? And then I got into contact with another NGO by the name of Hello Haiti. That's when I really started to really branch off away from Orphan Starfish, which is still doing incredible things. There's still love. It's just, I've been there. And I got a chance to meet a few other orphans that had been affected by the earthquake. But even before that, that orphanage had been set up in Haiti, and it was through Elizabeth and Sarah Kennedy, who's out in Connecticut. It was kind of amazing, too, because she's like this, I don't even know what her background, like, I'm just guessing, I don't know, English, something, Irish, I don't know, but she started speaking Creole, and I was like, hold on, what? Like, you speaking fluent Creole, low-key at the time better than me. And then I sponsored a kid, and I just felt like I had to continue going back and forth. And I've done many galas for them just out of love. Teach for America, that was a cool time.
Oh, you did Teach for America?
It was well, I just donated one of my bands. Right. What was another one? What's that one? Make-A-Wish Foundation. That was Post the Voice, and it was just a Make-A-Wish Foundation, New York City, where one of the kids just wanted to meet me. I'm like, why? Like, and it was like Post the Voice. I'm like, why? Because I didn't really. When you come from New York City, there's always some celebrity. Somebody either did A Voice or American Idol or toured with such and such. It's just all right.
Work with Diddy, of course.
I don't know about that, but I ain't throwing shade. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
And then what was a fun one? I guess even my work, if you will. Like just for the love of it. My mom always taught me if you on the trains, like carry like $1, carry like $2.
That's exactly.
What I mean?
Always have an envelope system.
So that's a lot of that NGO work, and if God willing, I have my own NGO, and I have my own NGO one day. But
yeah, it is interesting because a lot of people, and I keep reiterating everybody. My big break didn't come from the music industry working with artists. It came from the industry of humanitarianism, like nonprofits. Like the first big placement that I ever had, working with Marvel and Spider-Man, was through an orphanage in Haiti.
It's crazy.
So people think, oh, you're playing around New York. That playing around in New York and working with artists didn't give me a big break. It was actually being present, in an organization that didn't really need me, but the fact that I was Haitian, I was working with an orphanage, and they needed X, Y, and Z, and I was there. Mm-hmm. So one thing I want to emphasize, if you're in the industry of, let's say, film, or if you want to do music stuff, sometimes your big break doesn't come in working in your industry. It comes in the place where they're looking for talent, or they're looking for a place where they could park and help humanitarian aid, because that's not where we are. Like us, those people that are looking for us, they're not looking for us in the industry. They're looking for people in the nonprofit. So I feel like people miss that. And I try to tell everybody, anytime I'm in a podcast, like, yo, I got successful because I worked and I helped someone solve a problem, not because I did this. Yeah. And I wanted people to hear that from me, because I feel like people, they have a big ideas, like, oh, I'm going to be big. It was like, yo, like, you can be big, but if you can't solve a problem for somewhere else, and
what are you?
You know what I'm saying? So I hope everyone take that into perspective so you can hear it from him. Because
how are you? Like, it's funny because I'm also a realtor in New York City, but even that's a hustle.
Yeah.
I'm still a realtor, but since then I realized how much I've neglected music for a few years. But I remember saying this word I'm going to say now: servitude. Like, in what ways are you of service? And this guy said, "Don't you ever say that." And I'm like, "Why not?" And they were like, you're giving your power to the other person. And I said, well, I mean, not really. I'm just helping out the best I could. I want to be of service. So I'm like, but I get what he's trying to say, but how are you helpful, right? And that's when I recognized that at the time, at least, I wanted my artistry to reflect that. Did I, no, I don't know. No, I never deviated at all. No. Do you you forget that, that part of you sometimes, because, and that's just me being, honest, where you want the success and the fame and the glory and the lights, but then it's remembering that actually the fame, the glory, and the lights isn't what it's about, right? When it's purposeful and you want something to be impactful and that is timeless. That's low-key why I study, I call them the age of the legends back in like the 70s, 80s, these mega stars. They were all impactful and purposeful. I'm not gonna say all, but the ones we clearly remember were impactful in some sort of way. And that's what I wanted to reflect my artistry.
This is a big major gem sauce. You can't find this on TED Talk. Literally, like, you can't go to school and learn this. You had to really be on the ground level, and I had to read it, like, really confirm what you're saying, because I looked at everything that I've done up to this point, and I realized I made more impact outside of my industry, and I'm being more in demand in the industry, outside, doing stuff outside. And I was like, it don't make no sense, but it does make sense, because it's like when you give and you don't really care what you get from return, but if someone else sees that you're able to do that, and like, wait, time out, they did this, it almost draws a appeal to you, that way you don't have to work hard to get opportunity, because people see you as an opportunity, and it comes back. It comes back. It comes back.
You're not thinking about it, but
you don't have to think about it.
But it comes back.
We live that life, So now let's talk about post. See, my Brooklyn accent. Post voice.
I don't know if that's Brooklyn, dog.
The Brooklyn poise. Metro card. See, my Brooklyn accent comes out every once in a while. But post the voice. Now, one thing is very interesting. I don't know how much you can say, because you're out of the restrictive covenant of the contract, so you can say whatever you want. And you won't.
I can say anything I want now.
Okay, good. So we noticed that how they treat the talent in the voice is not the same people who like got signed, whatever. Because I noticed, I looked down the roster, there's a lot of the artists that were in your class, and some went further and they stopped, and others just, you don't hear from them. Like not because you're my man, but like I actually contact some of the people that was in your class. No one has been doing what you've been doing. Like, after that, okay, you did the record, you did a music video, and then you did the whole, stuff around Brooklyn with the, the Russian industry and the wedding industry. And then you did the whole residency to Dubai. Like, how are you able to, because obviously that's just one little area of, like, people don't realize, like, that little piece of fame, that's nothing compared to, like, putting in the work. Like, how are you able to transition of, like, okay, I'm nationally known, but it's like, in the back of my mind, it's like, yo, I gotta do something else, because it seems everyone in some form of red tape or broken promises, but you actually took what you did and like, okay, I'm gonna do something else. How did you know when, okay, I need to do that? Because it seems to me like the level playing field has been even, so it's like there's no excuse for anybody to, like, how did you know, okay, I gotta do this now?
The hustler's mindset. I mean, like you said, it's the culture. One, I think definitely Haitian culture, but definitely New York culture. Yeah, for sure. Whilst on the show, to be honest with you, I didn't even realize I was on the show till like my third round. Like, it was like an inner outer body experience. I was like, and it's funny. That's usually when things kind of come, is when you kind of let go and you don't care. Even coming on the show. But I won't, go too deep. Off the show, I knew that I needed to leverage the name, and I knew I had X amount of years, because we live in a microwave generation, and before the show, to the best of my ability, I understood artist business on a very basic level, and just leverage, right? Was I the best at it? No.
Explain leverage for those who don't know on the camera.
Well, for example, let's see The Rock. The Rock has Terramana Tequila, right?
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson has Terramana. He leverages his name for it to be successful, whereas if I were to release Terramana, it's not gonna, I'm not gonna say that. Let me not speak that existence. But my level of fandom, it's like taking whatever fandom that you have and being able to attach your brand to that, and that's like instant marketing on top of that too. So leveraging your brand in front of millions of people and thousands, whichever may be. So knowing that I had X amount of
Value, equity.
right, and
like equity, like facial.
almost, yeah, like, and I had 2 viral moments on The Voice, which was crazy because again, in or out of body experience. I didn't realize I was on the show till like my 3rd round. I was like, oh, I think I got to do this. But yeah, like after the show, I re-released Find Me Here because Find Me Here was already out, but the music video had already been out. The music video and the song was already out. I kind of repurposed it and repackaged it. And I was like, hey, brand new single, Find Me Here. It's been up on YouTube.
It did better after.
Oh my God, it jumped up by like, I think
sense.
right now it's still on. I mean, it's humble, but for an indie, it's like a good solid 30K. But that was immediate, and I saw what I could do with that. So I just decided, you know what? There was this thing called So Far Sounds, and I knew So Far Sounds allowed me to do actually moments like this. So this is also kind of full circle too, like being able to perform by myself and hold down a crowd, my ability to perform and kind of read the room, etc. And I just went from different cities, from Boston to DC to Philly to Cali, Detroit, and just pushed my name the best I could. And again, I had just finished working with the Russian scene, and the Russian scene kind of gave me a lot of funds, right, and funding, and they appreciated this talent. And again, a lot of this was, they just take care of me financially, right? So I was able to fund myself and make it make sense. And if I had to stay with somebody, I'll stay at somebody's place, or if I didn't, I didn't, and if I need to hire.
Did the Elon Musk.
I don't know what he did, but
So Elon Musk, there's a joke, there's a meme, like Elon Musk, he has all this money, but he actually don't really have a house, so he kind of like stays in friends' household, which is smart because obviously, depending on the market.
Well, I wish I stayed. Well, I mean, I couldn't stay, of course. I don't want it to be anybody.
No. Of course. You're just traveling by,
Yeah, like, because, these flights are expensive at the end of the day. But I also had points, and, miles because of the voice, too. So I'm going to use that and to use that. And it's a hustler's mindset. A lot of my contemporaries didn't do that. I'm proud of the ones that have, but like you said.
Coming out with some stuff now, yeah.
Yeah, but even then, it's and it's not just my season. I think that's just anybody who doesn't understand the business behind it. There's a hustle, there's a grind. And then beyond the hustle and grind, there's a knowledge. Then there's a knowledge and there's a trial and error. Post quarantine, I low-key gave up being an artist because I did like an audit of my artistry and saw where I went wrong. And I'm like, I'm not treating this like a business. Even though subconsciously I was, it was like the entrepreneur that's not taking care of his LLC. And then I was like, oh man, I'm messing up. Oh man, I was not even calculating my marketing budget, but I was doing marketing, but I didn't have a budget. I just threw it in there.
What was the indicator? You was like, okay, what was the first step that you did? Now we're transitioning more into the business aspect of the artistry. We talked about the creative process. We talked about our upbringing and our influences. Now we're going to talk more on the business. How did you know, okay, I got to legitimize my moves? Like, what was the first thing that you had to do?
How to legitimize my moves? In what context?
You leverage off of being national known.
Yeah.
Then you knew, okay, you was getting money and you're reinvesting in yourself. How were you were able to now take what you learned from there? And what was the first thing you did? Okay, obviously after making an LLC, but like, what was something that you needed to do, or like, because you had to do that here, then you did gigs. Like, how did you start off?
Well, believe it or not, being in real estate kind of helped me do all that. So I'm kind of in that transitionary period, if you will, because as an artist, a full-fledged artist, not featuring anything, I technically took 3 years off, technically. But God is so good where all these places that I have been to when I did my European solo tour, and that wasn't even, like, I just wanted to do it because my friend out of Norway said, come, like, they'll take care of my lodging. I said, well, it's in January. I know flights are cheap in January. Let me kind of hop and stay at different hostels or wherever it may be and find out where I can play.
That's very
and
smart.
Get to know where I can play. Smart. Just because I've always wanted to sing, and I was tired of waiting for somebody to give me the opportunity. Like, no, I'm going to make it myself.
That's the mentality where we came from. It goes right back. Like, for example, like, even doing this podcast, I'm super excited, but I'm nervous because even doing media work, marketing, I've done so much work with so many else. And it's like, now I'm like, wait, time out. I'm doing it myself. Oh crap, I gotta show my face. I'm at the point where like, I don't care. I'm in ripped jeans, I'm not shaved. This is how I am. But with the idea of you saying that makes me realize how important it is to be the self-starter. Like, you know my band, C'est La Vie, we do every third Sundays at the White Hart, and it's crazy because, I want to put this guy, Keith, on a highlight. This guy right here, he pushes me here, and having the studio here, and Brad jumping on, like really having a community and having something that, okay, what problem always, and it's not always for me, but what's the problem that I want to solve in this town, because we were spoiled being in New York. Like Mondays, we go, okay, you got the producer Mondays, and then
crazy.
Sundays, before it was the Village Underground, like we always had stuff in New York. I was like, man, how can I bring just a little bit of that here? And again, starting at your own.
Well, yeah, but I was going to say that's because of those 3 years that I had off, but also because of that European tour, I connected with so many other musicians, artists, producers, and some producers and friends I had, not during that time, but post-quarantine, well, actually during quarantine, I recorded a few songs that didn't get released until last year. So, and within like a year and a half time frame, excluding 2024, it looked as if I was releasing music, when really they decided
stockpiling until everyone.
Yeah. I don't even know why. I think one day I just reminded them. I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm gonna be in Italy." He's like, "Okay, what's up, man?" He's like, "Yo, remember that song?" I was like, "Okay, cool." And then out of nowhere, just like 1 month after another month. Now, mind you, in my mind, I'm no longer an artist. This is, I'm, in my mind, at least, like an artist. I'm now a musician, business owner, because I do entertainment where private events, private weddings, of course, weddings private, weddings, and then private entertainment. So in my mind, I'm just hustling. I'm just trying to survive. They're like, "Yo, Zaxai, sign this contract, sign this release, whatever, maybe whatever. The song's coming out." It wasn't up until somebody asked for my song, one of my songs, that I said, "Oh yeah, let me just go on my Spotify." And I'm like, "Whoa, when did all this happen?"
Yeah,
like,
when you released that dance show, I was like, "Oh, you doing EDM now, bro?" It's like that rave. It sounded amazing though. I was like, "Yo, when did you do this?"
Man, years ago, and that's the funny part. So
Wow.
now the Spotify jumped by like, I think I'm at 102,000.
At one point I saw.
At one point,
I saw like it was in the 200,000s. It was that first dance song.
And I was like, last I checked, it was definitely 333 monthly listeners. You know what I mean? But so, and to the public, it'll look like there's a season of Zaxai that's a deep house, trance house artist, and I'm just like, I guess I am.
No, but what happened to your back catalog? They saw, oh, who's this singer? And then they looked at your stuff, and your stuff jumped too. After that.
I just did like a bunch of songs, and they took my vocals and they just put on top of records. And so to the public, I never skipped a beat, but I skipped the whole beat. But I'm thankful because I needed that break to understand music business, marketing, why I went wrong. Do I really want to do this? Do I love this? Where am I as an artist? Where am I as a person? What content? And I'm thankful for that because now I'm at a place where I feel like I know my purpose within the music, where I want to go, how I want to release it, what I want to do, where I want to do it, how I want to do it. And it's going to be like to the 100 and something thousand people that's expecting a dance house record, they're going to be mighty surprised when it's a...
Yeah, we cooked up something this weekend.
But I'm sure they're going to like it because...
they're going to love it, man. It's right back to the... almost post rendezvous.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun, and I'm thankful. And there were records that I said, "Listen, Finn, I need your help on, man." And it makes sense. 10 years, well, now 11 years, but 10 years of Kai would not make sense to release a project full circle and not have Finestro be a part of that. So
because for those who wasn't here earlier, the project that was released, it was literally a year after I moved here, 2016. I got married. He was one of my groomsmen, so it was great that. And then months later, then you went to The Voice, and then after that, you was on all this stuff. So
legit.
Now, right back to 2024, we're back here. It's almost we haven't skipped a beat. You know what I'm saying?
We never really did, because to be candid, not because he's my boy too. There's a lot of I consider like different mentors and seasons in my life. I could start from the beginning. Musically, I don't know why. I've always been able to see this is my mentor for the season. This is my mentor for the season. And some mentors don't even come in the form of like good mentors. They just come in the form of this is where I don't want to be, But Finn, since we were younger, and it was just, even to be honest, a surprise to me.
We're basically the same age, bro. don't act like I'm old. I'm not old,
but
bro.
I'm saying, I'm 3 years older than my big brother. Younger
man,
brother.
We the same age.
We
bro.
are the same age for the most part. But when you think about like Jose's my big brother to this day.
We sharpen each other.
Heavy sharpen, you know what I mean?
We sharpen
but
each other.
Finn has sharpened me in a different way. And even I didn't realize that, you know what I mean? It took me until Revelation, you kind of sit down, recognize what people play certain roles in your life, right? And, Finn has definitely been a part of that. Even to this day, like there are times where I'm not even, like, or at home, like I just receive a random text and I'm like, huh. And there was a season, I don't even know how this man knew what was going on. I'm just like, what is this guy
my wife, I blame my wife.
saying right now? That
like,
was you.
Let me tell you how it happened. So my wife, she was like, hey, when's the last time you spoke to Alberto? I was like, maybe a couple months. And it was the time after you went from, it was when you, in the middle of your residency in Dubai. So you was like, the Spirit of God spoke to my wife, and I was like, you know what? I need to contact you, see what's happening. And, just, how spiritual I am. When I pray, God downloads so many things that don't make sense. And I just send you text like, hey, is this happening? And literally, we haven't contacted each other for maybe 3 months or so. Yeah. Everything that I texted him, that I felt God was sharing with me, it was spot on. It was spot on. So this is how I know that in protection too, because I felt like there's a season in your life that when I was younger, I was in somewhat of a rebellious stage. It was way before I met my wife. Way before. This is 2 years after I left Liberty, New York, and the whole not party life, but just finding my way. I felt like even when it was 24, 25 years old, traveling on my own, going to Germany, going to Paris, and in the wrong places, but I met right people, but not in the right time in my life, and realizing you kind of set your path, and then I'm now married, and you're doing that thing. I felt like God already opened my eyes to see what I needed to tell him in that season. So I was very thankful, and he was actually there for a lot of people don't know. He was there for me. Prior to meeting my wife, he was there for me in my season, my what they call that season, my outside the covenant.
It was in the streets.
Yeah, he actually he was very gracious. He was actually there for me when I was in the streets. Hypothetically,
if I belong to the streets, no,
he was there. No, seriously, he was there before. So I felt like we matured, and
I hope so, because I'm not trying to, not. But
yeah, man. So more on the music. So find me here. Kiss Me Again. What's another song that you say yo, you play this song and wow, this is something that you connected to. What's another song that you have in the arsenal?
All of the songs I connect with, for the sake of I guess giving versatility, all the songs I really connect with. Because every song has a story behind it, Though this is a podcast, I still treat it like a performance too, right? So I did
treat it as a performance. This is my podcast, but it's not. I don't want it to have a formula. You get what I'm saying?
Word.
Every podcast is gonna have its own identity. It's gonna have its own culture and everything. Yeah. So don't worry about the form. Just do what you do.
Word.
Yeah.
I connect with all of them. The one I got a deeper connection with is probably Do You Mind, but this next song I'm not gonna play is Do You Mind, just because I like to put on for the culture one time. This one called Les Méchants was I had dropped a blend of Afrobeat and Creole. Since then, now it's adopted, but I feel like people at the time didn't do a good job of blending the two. So what I did, this was my old band, IET band. It was called Bless, and
that was a bop. First. That was a smash. I feel like that should have hit hard, man.
Man,
I know.
That was a fun record.
That was fun.
And he had sent me the beat, and I forgot all about the beat. I just woke up one morning. I was just like, let me take a look at this. That was fun. Yeah. But I had met a South African South African producer. She named her child after me, Post a Voice. So I got like 30 babies named after me around the world. It was kind of I was like, whoa.
That's
and then all them like, can I name my babies? I'm like, sure, do what you got to do. Like, I'm happy. You know, like
trademark your name, please.
Tell me about it. That's a whole other thing, child funding for that. But anyways, but yeah, so she was like, yo, I got this Afrobeat song. I was like, you know what's funny? I'm trying to mix the culture to the best of my ability. This is when Afrobeat first.
2016.
Nah,
2018.
The Voice of 2018, so 2019.
2019, yeah. Yep.
It's like when this is like Wizkid is first coming out and stuff. But I wanted to mix, because I knew it's music is so fluid in such a way, it connects so many different genres, where you can have a Afro pop, because there's so many different Afro pop beat rhythm and then a compa rhythm.
Explain what compa is.
So there's so many different Haitian rhythms, but with compa
it's like zouk mixed with.
But yeah, this one is but this one more of a zouk, and a zouk is, or rather I should say, when I try to describe people, I tell people, do you know of kizomba, right? And I tell the root of kizomba definitely comes from zouk itself. And the zouk is definitely internationally known. It's just, though, if you ever seen like the TikToks or Instagram, people, they just kind of dancing
all
sexy,
like,
just
yeah,
like, what's going on? Why are they so close right now? This is not okay. Like, I don't know.
Close, but not touching close.
No, they touching close on that zouk, boy.
Okay.
touchy. They're just like this. It's like
right
this,
there.
This close.
Just the garment. You know what they say, the Liberty way, but not literally just close.
That's called the Liberty way. That's what y'all call it here. About to say, wait a minute.
Nah. Like close, but not too close. Not like just, you know.
Somebody said they policing this out here.
They're policing out here. Not capping it.
She's like, they do. You can't go to the rooftop. No. This one is called Les Méchants, and Les Méchants translates. Its literal translation is like she's mean. I took it in a context of like she's bad, like because even when you say les méchants, it'd be like, oh, pourquoi ça méchant comme ça? Like, oh shit, pourquoi ça méchant? It'd be like, yo, why you acting so mean? Why you acting like that? So it's like you're a tease, and yeah, I just in my mind, I don't know, I wanted to make recreate another Bless. I love all the songs, but I'll play that one right now for you, and hopefully you like it. I've never experimented doing this song with my pedal, so this is gonna be fun. So this is a first for all of us too, especially laying on the beat. I'm trying to get to. Nope, it's not doing it. Check the scenario. You and I hit the road. Anything we say goes. Baby, I go fight for it. I go fight for you. Now you be the author. Say you want fresh water. I'll arrest the clouds, do. Till rain hits the ground, do. Your smile is my crown, baby. Your heart is my heart, baby. Come over and rule me, yeah. I want you to rule me, yeah. Oh, I swear, wap koneki mounweye, jam wela. Son criminel bien habillé, Kembela. That's what everybody says. How can I When she knows damn well il méchant, tout ça le fait le méchant. Ti fait qu'elle chavire, elle connaît les belles. Look how she glisten, vlogs with a mission. She's like sweet honeydew, caramel and sea miel. Look how she sway. Look how she move. Look how she sway. I told ya, it's about time we keep it real. If we you know the deal. My last name is yours, it's still I told ya. You well comprende, baby, told me aile. Let go for me, baby, won't you let go for me, baby? I'll be yours for life, I'm here for your sugar. Watch, before you forget. I swear ya, wap konen ki moun mwenye jam well la. Son criminel bien habillé kembe la. That's what everybody says, how can I? When she knows damn well li méchant, tout ça le fait méchant. Li fait qu'elle chavire, elle connaît li belle. Look how she glisten, walks with a mission. She's like sweet honeydew, caramel and sea miel. She's like sweet honeydew, caramel and sea miel. She's like sweet honeydew, caramel and sea miel. Oh baby, honey, honey, honey. I swear I'm gonna moi. Oh, oh, I swear I'm gonna moi. I'm gonna just. I swear ya. I'm gonna keep moun mweye jam well la. Son criminel bien habillé kembe la. That's what everybody says, how can I? When she knows damn well li méchant, tout ça fait méchant. Li fait qu'elle chavire, elle connaît li belle. Look how she glistens, walks with a mission. She's like sweet honeydew, caramel and sea miel. She's like sweet honeydew, caramel and sea miel. She's like sweet honeydew, caramel and sea miel. Should I translate?
Yeah, translate. Break it down for them. And,
so
in the Wap George.
I just threw that in. The pre-chorus. I swear ya wap konen ki moun mwenye jamwe la. I swear ya wap konen ki moun mwenye jamwe la. Son criminel bien habillé kembe la. That's what everybody says. How can I when she knows damn well li méchant? I swear ya wap konen ki moun mwenye. Tonight you're gonna know who I am. Jamwe la, the way I see you. Son criminel bien habillé. You're a criminal that's dressed
well,
just really well, or rather, you're the context. Yeah, exactly.
Seductive.
Criminal bien habillé. Kembela means like, yo, hold on, like, yo, just chill, hold on. That's what everybody says because as a guy, they be like, yo, you gotta be smooth. And so I'm just like, how can I when she knows damn well she's a tease? Li méchant, she's bad, she's mean. Tout ça fait méchant. Everything you do is a tease. She makes my heart twist and turn, and she knows she's bad. Look how she glistens. walks with a mission. She's like sweet honeydew caramel, and siwo miel is honey. So I go right, kind of jump right back to the Creole. She's like sweet honeydew caramel and siwo miel. That's it.
Wap kon George.
So that's like Haiti Central. Like
It's like saying like karma.
You gonna
get what you're gonna get. You're gonna get
understand.
it. Like Wap kon George basically means like yo, watch your back, yo. George is gonna come after you. It's like it's another way of saying
in a
karma.
playful context.
It's a playful
like
context.
Wap kon George. So it's like he's like, keep messing with me, keep playing around. You could tell what age I was when I wrote that. But yeah, and even context behind it. Did you know George was a tornado? So when they said Wap kon George,
you're gonna get it. Yeah,
like the tornado hit Haiti. So
I did not know that.
So it became like a saying later on. And we're like, Wap kon George, like George the tornado, like Hurricane George. Like you gonna understand what Hurricane George is about to do to you.
Yeah,
so,
you got.
And then over time it became something else. So.
Okay, wow, I just learned something new. I didn't know that was a
little bit of trivia, a little bit of
thing. Okay, I guess we're gonna open the floor. If anybody have any questions for any of us, this superstar right here, floor is open. I might have a question. You have a burning question?
Shout out to Melee for allowing me to perform at First Friday.
Yeah, First Friday. Yeah, talk about that. How the experience at the Academy. Like it was crazy because we was performing. We didn't rehearse. We just jamming. We was, we know this stuff like by heart. But then we had like a violin player just come in.
That was mad random.
He just came in. Was like, I want to jam with you. He just played. He was playing Purple Rain, and then this other trumpet player. He just came in and said, hey, can I go grab my trumpet? It's like, sure. Yo, like, I swear every time I'm with this dude, it's like the musician comes out that woodwork. So I'm like, yo. So how was the experience performing at the Academy? I mean, I
just rocking with you. That was vibes.
Yeah, that was great.
I genuinely didn't know that they were even gonna show up to me. I didn't know what happened. I think I was just in my own world, and I think I just head nodded like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then he came in. I was like, that's just honest truth. And I was like, there's a whole violin. What's going on? And then the trumpet player, I think you said somebody went to go home, wait till 10. And I said, and then Melly, I know Melly was like, nah, we done it like, 8, 9 or something like that. I said, ain't okay, we no 10. It's not going to be no 10. And then he pops up, he's like, and I'm like, what is going on? So I'm just like, all right.
I was surprised. I was like, this is not happening.
Thank you.
I'm like, this is not happening. Oh my goodness. And it's cool.
Like, hey, okay.
Yeah, it was great. That was awesome. That was incredible, man. But yeah, the floor is open. You have any questions? This is his last night, so until yeah.
What's the hardest thing you had to overcome, and how did you overcome?
Good question. What's the
as an artist or just life in general?
in life or as in our artistry?
Whether it's in business or in personal.
Oof, yeah. You want to go first? You want to think about it?
Oh man, that's a really great question. To overcome. You know what?
It's overcoming it.
I'm gonna be relevant. Like one thing I actually had a hard time transitioning, being that I'm from New York and I came here. I was like, man, I was trying to figure out like what life will be without like being in the gig circuit. And I was like, you know what? And then of course having wonderful kids and the picture of it. What's interesting, I was trying to understand like what would be my like my, not saying identity, but how at what capacity I will operate within my giftings, because again, I came from playing in a church for a long time that introduced me to the industry a lot, but then now coming here, I'm not playing in a church anymore. So it's like how my identity will be served outside of doing things that I'm used to, and again, thinking about problem solving. It's like, you know what, if I can't do this, what capacity I could use my giftings, and I guess the opportunity came itself through, I'm working in public schools. Outside of music, I work IT, but then the opportunity working with the academy, and now I'm artist residency, now I'm doing that now with the kids. So I feel like that felt my cup, and I felt more filled doing that than doing the production work for X, Y, and Z, 124 company, whatever, because I felt like there was an identity that in this town, I have to say all the time, Lynchburg's such a talented town. Like, the kids that I'm working with in EC Glass, I swear they could all be in Carnegie Hall right now. Like the stuff that they're learning, advanced stuff. And the attentiveness to detail and the openness to take what I said and like play it right there. I'm like, yo, like you could be in LA right now. Like, why are you in school? Like, I don't want to say it like that, but like these kids are so intelligent. It's like it's a blessing for me to be around these individuals. So the hardest thing for me, which I've overcame, was I just had to let go of the identity. It's like I don't have to quote unquote play in church to feel filled. It's like, you know what? Lynchburg's such a small town. It's like 90,000. Maybe I could work with downtown, work with whatever. Then the opportunity allowed me to use everything I learned and invest in it. And I'm noticing there's a shift happening from that. And I'm very thankful to be part of that.
So finding yourself in the new community.
Yes.
And working with that. As
Yes, exactly.
gifts you had from New York in a new space.
Right. And it's rinse and repeated, you know. You're part of that too. Yeah, Sheena's part of it too, you know. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Yeah, Sheena was one of the artists that earlier, it was the earlier studio that we had before recorded her project. Amazing. She's part of the community, you know. You all are part of the community. Give it up for you guys, because I didn't want to over promote this show. I wanted to be intimate. Again, a shout out, thank you, Taylor, for opening the doors for this space. Back to you. What was your hardest thing, you know? There was a lot. I didn't want to say, but I know you had something
Too
hard.
many.
Too many.
Like if we're talking personal, oh man, I'll boil it down to a lack of identity and a void that to this day I want to make sure that I'm not using crutches and vices to fill. And I was definitely feeling that through relationships, serial relationships. Majority of my songs are like some sort of breakup. And then at one point I was like, okay, I gotta start writing these breakup songs. And that's when I came up with another song called Goodbye. I was like, I want to take my power back. But just reinventing myself consistently. Like I had a horrible relationship with food. I should probably say the mic right to record the podcast. I had a horrible relationship with food. And at one point my heaviest was like 290. And then my lowest was like, after I lost it, like a healthy 180. And it'd be cool, like if, you know, people usually tell me how, like, oh, congratulations, that was awesome, except I did that 3 times, you know? So I kept consistently up and down. So having to find out who I am, what my value is, my worth, and to this day, just making sure that I don't revert back to old habits has been something that has definitely been huge. And even like in the new music that I'm producing, and he's Finestro, especially some of the records, we've been talking about that. Just want to reclaim that for other people who might be facing that, who doesn't feel like nobody knows what that feels like, right? And I know that it's a thing in a generation, because my brother is 10 years younger than me. And sometimes I look at him and I'm like, our lives are so parallel, except for some reason that weight seems a little heavier on you than it was on me. So that was one. In the industry, fear, and it's so upsetting, because I also feel like sometimes I have this imposter syndrome. So it's like I'm giving this advice, but am I John Mayer yet? No. So like, you know, is this quote unquote advice or just honesty going to land on good fruit? Oh no, sorry. Will it manifest a good fruit? Right. So rather, I should say, is this good soil? Right. So. But I can say for a fact, the overcoming factor has been fear. And it's wild because, you know, when I first started in artistry, even to name myself Zaxai, Zaxai, that was just all faith. And you're younger, you're fearless, and now at 35, it's like, oh man. Well, then when I first quit, I guess 31, 32, right? 30. And I said, I don't know if I can continue to do this. And finally getting back to the point where I'm like, whoa, no, I am an artist. No, I know what my purpose is. No, nothing will distract me from doing what I need to do and all that. Yeah, it was just a lot of fear. And I recognized, and everything, I had to sit back and watch, sit back and listen. And I'm like, everything that's coming out of my mouth is really anxiety based. And I don't think that's the way to live. I know it's not the way to live, right? And it's funny too, because I used to tell people, go the opposite way of fear. Usually that's where you're supposed to be headed. But then next thing you know, here am I not taking my own advice for X amount of years, right? But then also goes back to identity as well. What me understanding where my void was and that. So that was something I had to overcome. Still overcoming every day. It's a process, so.
That was a great question. Thank you for sharing that. That was good. Any other question? Yes.
I wanted to ask, I know you touched on a little bit, but I'm curious about, you said that you got good quick. And so I'm curious about what to get you there, what was that time frame? I'm guessing you were probably a musician when you were children, when you were younger, but to get professional with 20 hours a day or hourly, hours a month, and what comes with it? The rest of the 5 years, that algorithm.
Well, you probably gonna have a different answer, but you want to answer it? You go first.
Okay, so she was saying basically how long it took us. I'll be quite honest with you. It sounds funny saying this, but like, is our genetic
Disposition?
Yeah, it's in us. But even having that, you still got to work it out.
True.
So now, something I have to be very careful how I explain this. I'm not much into science, but there's something, I forgot what it's called. Basically, if you were to move yourself, and let's say you moved to Antarctica, you're not going to do well for the next 2-3 years. But something in your body and your cells, your genetics is going to change. Maybe your eyes going to turn a different color. Maybe your color of hair is going to turn differently. Maybe your skin is going to be a little tougher. It happens. So let's say you were to live in Lynchburg and then you move to New York. You're going to inherit things in your genetics that you're not going to inherit living here. So there's things that I can't remove because I'm from New York that could never go away, no matter what I do, because I was born with it, and the rhythms of everything how I operate here shows that. You know that. But I've calmed down a whole lot, but I understand genetically I became a little bit more calmer, but it has a lot more to do with the timing. Not my neurodivergence. Yeah, she said that neurodivergence, but it has a lot to do with also the community, because the people that was around us, they're like, on a given day, like we could chill with people who are, she said neurodivergence, that's true, but also even those who aren't neurodivergence, the people who are like literally high level thinkers, and people who are like highest in their field, like not just musicians, but you also like young doctors and lawyers and stuff. So we were raised around those type of people, so we already know what success looks like. And because of our parents, kind of like that whole, we said that what you're saying about like not feeling you're good enough, the whole imposters. I feel like that's inherited through our parents' fears, because they want us to be something else, but we didn't know how good we was because we never was nurtured that until we went to school or until we went to college. It was like, oh, I know how to do this. It was like, oh, and you go crazy. It was like, why no one didn't tell me I was like this at home? And it made us sad, but in a way, now we had to nurture that. So being in the area that we had to grow and like adapt to helped us get to that level. And then when we left, we didn't know how good we was until
you found it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
So it has a lot to do with the community. So if I want to be a singer, you got to be around singers. Oh, I want to be a runner. You got to be around great runners. If you want to be a musician, you got to be around great musicians. And that's, literally this is what we were around. And that helped us when we were out of that. It was just a natural thing. It kind of is in our genetics. And then, of course, nurturing it comes with also practicing. But sometimes, even Brad, I know you from Denver, right? Like, playing with this dude only a couple of times, I understand, okay, his language and how he plays, it works with everybody. I know X, Y, and Z because I've experienced someone like Brad in New York. You know what I'm saying? Or like Keith or like you. So able to understand the identity of people's personalities and how they play also helps play a role of how well you will progress as a musician or singer or someone in business and stuff like that. So, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have no practice time anymore, so you put it in anytime.
Appreciate you for that one, Richard. He's got it. For me, I was gonna say, yeah, that actually, but on a practical level, now this is like the hustling me. To be honest with you, let me tell you, if you want, technically speaking, the second you get paid to do something, that makes you a professional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So if somebody to this day said, I'm gonna give you, if you said, are you gonna pay me $300 to play that one note for a commercial, you are not professional. You are not professional, right? Now it's just a matter of how good of a professional are you, right? So now I think if your question leans more towards, right, the duration and talent and the gifting portion of it, right? Yeah, like Rachel just finished saying, and Finn, it's a daily thing, and even if, and it's one of those I hate to even say because Lord knows I sometimes am not consistent in any other aspect, like maybe fitness or whatever it may be, although I know that's what it takes, right? But sometimes it's not even that, it's just kind of just sitting down. But I remember the origins of like when I first started playing by ear, but I gotta give the title of the podcast. I had this thing called 911 tabs. Since then, of course, they need subscriptions now, whatever. It's kind of sucks. But I had the original 911 tabs years ago. I'm on YouTube, and I remember falling asleep and just like, but that's because I loved it, But then to now Finn's point, you can accelerate that when you're around other great musicians, because definitely you feel like I've grown. And I'm just keeping it in pocket today because Lord knows I'm not trying to mess up on this podcast now. Like there are some musicians that play for, like back home in my band, like for J-Lo, and another one for Adele, another one for J. Cole. We just spoke about Carlin. Another one for you name it. You who's who. But that's also New York culture for a wedding gig or whatever it may be. So you're kind of just sitting down, or just even listening to it and just like, how did he do again?
Playing, yeah, it's the culture.
It's just like, oh, I gotta try that.
Yeah, it's like instead of going to a school like Berkeley in Boston, like you get the best, like in your church or in your backyard, or you know what I'm saying. And when you're around that, it's gonna rub on you. It's just natural. Like come to the jam sessions. Come, like I can invite you out to the studio.
Lots of open mics.
Open mics. A lot of open mics. That's your training ground. Like a lot of people don't realize, like. Bands like Steely Dan or Toto or Earth, Wind & Fire, those guys, if you think about it, they were session musicians.
Yeah.
They were session musicians. Like, all of them were session musicians. Some play in church, some play with Motown, whatever. They were all session musicians, like us. Mm-hmm. And then they got big because it was like, oh, you play percussion, and then, they keep on rotation, and they got big because of, like, Dave Matthews Bands. Again, like, those guys, that formula... It's because they were around those other people. So even the mediocre of the musicians are on the top because they were around those people. So you have to focus being around those people that you aspire to be or want to be, and you'll be there eventually. Especially when you leave, you'll notice that.
Yeah, feel comfortable doing it when pretty much. I just even playing out, like I felt more comfortable as a singer. It took me time to become like a guitars, and like where I feel like okay, now I can take a solo, like, and even then I'm just like. You're gonna get a good 8 bars. That's about it.
You got way better though. I'm not gonna lie.
Solid 8 bars.
When you was soloing at Purple, I was like, okay.
Just like voicings. But I become a better acoustic player because of my electric guitar playing. So, but like Finn said, like same thing. Sometimes just like on the bed and I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And I step out, my friends are like, whoa. I'm like, don't you owe me? That was doo-doo. Next thing you know, you're going to end up doing some crazy Jimi Hendrix left field, the lick. And I'm just like, bro, like, I just don't want to play anymore. Like, what are you doing? So, it just takes putting that 10,000 hours or just the love of it So if anything, the love, it's got to be there. It has to be there.
Yeah.
Is it? Hopefully I answered the question.
I hope we answered it again.
Okay, good.
Any other questions? Yes.
it
Ooh, that's a. She asked, "What
Revelation
would it take
from
to
God."
get you to move to Lynchburg, brother? If that was the God speaking, we had that. We had the brother conversation. Well, you can answer. You can answer that if
I'm figuring out where I'm. That's actually part of the season of my life. Like what's next. I'm told, and I'm experiencing.
Lovely venues for you to do your thing in, walking trails.
Trust me, I've sold the whole gamut. It's right now. All he has to do is literally just step on through. That's all you have to do. just step on through.
Our arms are definitely open and welcoming to you. And whatever we can do to make it easy, we're here for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
This is your home base, bro. I'm telling you.
Listen, brother, just praying and then figuring it out. That's all it is. Just figuring out what's gonna be next. Where to go.
He's being stubborn, but yeah.
No. Let me tell you.
Sorry.
I spent too much time.
That's good. I love
going my own
his,
accord.
I love his demeanor because you got to be very intentional. Because again, we've been through traumatic experiences too. Even though I moved here, it was harder for me to transition, but it gotten better and better, obviously. But everyone, I love the fact that he's really intentional about it. So it's not just I'm relying on my boy, but it's good because you want to make sure you're on the right side of things.
Of course.
Even though it looks good, you want to make sure you know.
Yes, it's gotta all make sense.
Doesn't make
Coming
sense.
here, and it just made sense.
Any other question, concerns, comments, and yeah, mama. Okay. Oh, if you have one song.
One song, testimony song of me. And really know me?
Any song. It doesn't matter if it's your song or it's anybody's song.
Oh, like me as an artist, or like me as like describing who I am? Oh, Blackbird. If it's something yeah, you know why? Because I remember during quarantine, not post quarantine, I would because I messed up the bridge a few times. Yo, we did it tonight. We was trying to. I was trying to.
Play slow, first of all, Blackbird. By was it Paul McCartney?
Yes.
That's a hard song to play. I'm like people. Swear,
I just forgot the bridge.
Listen, people swear Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I guess I could do a cappella.
People think that Paul McCartney got Paul McCartney got some pepper in him. Like he is.
Got some lemon pepper wings, brother.
He's pepper. He has some pepper in him and spice. That's a very hard song to play. It's very, Yeah, my wife said, play it. Play your version of it, man. I love what we jamming at my house, man. Take your time.
I always mess that song up, but it's such a beautiful song. I don't mess it up. Why Blackbird? Blackbird because when I remember when I translated it in Creole, it used to come from a Creole set that I was doing, and I would mix English and Creole together during that portion of the concert, and I thought about the kids in Haiti too, just because, and I thought that this is probably what they may feel like, but also me too. But anyways, man, I wish I could remember how to play that bridge, child. Let me tell you, and it sucks because that was like one of those songs I sat with, but I haven't played it since coming to Lynchburg. So I don't even know why. Maybe that was God trying to tell me you better sit down and learn it, and I did not listen. But let me just get the key. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird, fly. Blackbird, fly. into the night of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You are only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird, fly. Blackbird, fly into the night of the dark black night. Yeah.
I thought he was gonna sing in Haitian Creole. I was like, oh boy.
I forgot my translation.
It's all good. Yeah, that was great. So this
bring that back.
concludes the podcast. Any last remarks? I'll say, guys, thank you for coming. This is podcast episode number 1 of many. So my goal is to really get this all situated. And again, thank you, Taylor, for opening the space. So I'm going to be doing it in different areas. In Lynchburg, in this area, in the place where I want to highlight the businesses here. So it's not just about me, it's also about the city that I'm here serving. And hopefully nationally it could be recognized and everything. Again, big shout out for Shaq on camera and everything. Yo, big up for everyone for coming through. Love you guys. Yeah. I feel like it's like Saturday Night Live. It's like, hey, you want to end with a song?
I ended with a song. I ended with this last song. This song, when you had asked, I forgot who asked the personal song that I love, and I went to the Creole song and said, right, Do You Mind? Do You Mind was supposed to be like the second coming of Find Me Here. But that song, for whatever reason, like I used to love emotional ballads. And I've since produced it, haven't released it. I probably will release it now before Valentine's Day. Why not? But I just want to think about marketing. I don't want to just release stuff anymore, just to release it. But this song I wrote right before quarantine. This was in 2020. Sorry, I lied. No, end of 2019 for my birthday. My birthday is November 30th, and it was the last leg of my domestic tour. Just go from different cities, solo domestic acoustic tour. Some of my cities, I brought out my musicians, the ones that were nearby, of course. But this one was in Toronto, and I wanted that to be like the last city. And I wrote this song kind of in between the last city and into Toronto. And in Toronto, I tested it out for the first time. The lyrics changed since then, but to this day, that song is still like my personal favorite, and it's called Do You Mind? And it was after a really bad breakup. It was like really dumb. But since then, I moved on from it. But I just love the melody. I don't know why. I love the song. So I sometimes just listen to it, and it's good to be in a different place to love a song and not be in that same place anymore. Although back then, I used to have people crying just because. But now I smile when I listen to that song. So this is called Do You Mind? And I hope you don't mind if I play it for you. Kind of corny. That's who I am. Sorry. I was telling Rachel earlier, Finestro's wife, that I'm becoming corny like my father. And yeah,
Your father was dope.
My father is dope
He
and
was
corny.
Dope. He was the man. He was the man.
So I feel like that's gonna be part of my artistry one day. One day now. This is Do You Mind? Nope. Here we go. Nope. Wish the days I called you mine, and hate the way that feels sometimes. Truth is I'm far from fine. Thought that I could get you off my mind. Hit the road, leave you behind. The whole time I've been blind. Flashbacks, they taunt me. phone's filled with memories. My bottle's where your lips should be. I've been traveling lately, and last night seems hazy. I wonder if you think of me. I don't want to, and I don't mean to, but do you mind if I'm still in love with you? And I don't want to chase the feeling, but do you mind if I'm still in love with you? I hate to admit the race to liberation is in your arms. Not that I've replaced you, but if I erase you, then I could leave this void, and I could rest for one damn night. 'Cause your flashbacks, they taunt me. My phone's filled with memories. There's bottles where your lips should be. I've been traveling lately, and last night seems hazy. I'm faced with this reality. I don't want to, and I don't mean to, but do you mind if I'm still in love with you? And I don't want to chase the feeling, but do you mind if I'm still in love with you? I bargain with fate for its destiny to wait, even change the hands of God, because I'm left with this stain that spells out your name. Day, place, and time you left me. And I don't want to, and I don't mean to, but do you mind if I'm still in love with you? Thank you. That'll be out, I don't know when, but I'll figure that out.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so that concludes the podcast. All right, thank you guys for coming. Peace.
Peace.